of this book, that is Writing and City Life. So, Writing and City Life, this chapter relates to the earliest civilization of the world, that is the civilization that flourished in Mesopotamia, which is also known as present day Iraq. So, this the oldest civilization of the world that flourished around 7,000 to 6,000 BCE is considered as the oldest civilization of the world. And this civilization is not only the oldest civilization, but it is one of the most developed civilization of the world, because the people of this civilization, they not only started living a settled life, they also learned the art of agriculture, and soon they started living in cities. They also started a political system, and one and the most prominent thing of this civilization was they developed the art of writing. So therefore this civilization is also known to be the first civilization where the people learned the art of writing. And there they developed a script which was a pictographic script, in which with the help of pictures they tried to explain the people, they tried to communicate with the people through the pictographic script. So now I am going to read the lesson, so it is more clear to you. City life began in Mesopotamia, the land between the Euphrates and the Tigris River, that is now part of the Republic of Iraq. So it is saying that this the oldest civilization of the world, it flourished in a land which was between the two rivers. So the two rivers that drained this land was Euphrates and River Tigris. So even though present day Iraq, which was first known as Mesopotamia, the oldest name of Iraq is Mesopotamia, and where the oldest civilization occurred, this land, even though it is located where the rainfall is very less and is considered as dry and arid region, but because of these two rivers that drained the land became fertile, and so the people, this the primitive people, they settled down in this place and they started their own civilization because of the fertile soil that were brought by the these two rivers. So the, you can say, the civilization occurred in the fertile land drained by the two rivers. As you have seen that most of the earliest civilization of the world, they occurred near the banks of the river. Like you can say the Indus Valley civilization of Indian subcontinent, it flourished near the river Indus. Then the Egyptian civilization, which flourished near the river Nile, and the Chinese civilization, which flourished near the river Yangtze. So all these earliest civilization, they originated near the banks of the river. The reason is that at that time rivers, they were the only, you can say, they were the only means, they were the only source of supplying water, not only for their daily requirements but for the purpose of irrigation and for fulfilling their other demands. So as the, you can say that the monsoon was unpredictable, so the main source of water for these primitive people were the rivers. And so all the important civilization, the oldest civilization, they occurred near the banks of the river. So this was one of the civilization which is one of the oldest civilization, or and is the not only the oldest civilization but is considered as urban civilization, because the people of this civilization, they not only started living a settled life, they started communicating with each other, and so they developed a script, and they started writing a pictographic script in which they used to communicate. And this pictographic script also became the base for trading, not only inland trading but also external trade. So with the help of these people who settled down in this area as agriculturists and pastoralists, they soon became traders and they started living in a city life. So this was the first civilization where the cities emerged, and the people of this civilization, they lived a urban life with a good political system. Now, Mesopotamia civilization is known for its prosperity, city life, its voluminous and the rich literature, and its mathematics and astronomy. So the people of this civilization, they were well versed in many other things. Not only they have developed the art of writing and pictographic script, but also they have a good knowledge of maths and astronomy. Mesopotamia writing system and literature spread to the eastern Mediterranean, northern Syria and Turkey. And not only this remain confined in their particular place, but whatever knowledge they have got, they started spreading it towards the east of the Mediterranean, that is the northern Syria and Turkey after 2000 BCE. So that kingdoms of that entire region were writing to one another and to the Pharaoh of Egypt in the language and script of Mesopotamia. Now, what it is saying, that whatever art they have developed, that is the art of writing, a pictographic script, they did not they did not made that pictographic script confined to themselves. Means they only not only they developed that script, but they started spreading also that script to the other parts of the, you can to the other parts of Asia, like you can say towards the north of Mediterranean Sea, and also to the northern Africa, that is the area of the Nile River, that is Egypt. So that when the people of other parts, they also learned their script, then it would be easier for them to communicate with each other, and they can enhance their trade with with the people of other lands. So in this way, they spread their art of writing, that is the pictographic script, to the other regions, like to the other countries like Syria and Turkey, and also to the Egypt, that is in northern Africa, in the language and script of Mesopotamia. Here we shall explore the connection between city life and writing, and then look at some outcomes of a sustained tradition of writing. Means how they used to, whatever art they have developed of writing, how they used to preserve it. In the beginning of recorded history, the land, mainly the urbanized south, was called Sumer. So the land which was first developed was the southern part of the Mesopotamia, because this was the only part where the soil was very fertile, because the soil was brought by these two rivers and were deposited over there. So this land became the most fertile area, and so first of all, this land was, you can say, the people inhabited this land because of the fertility of the land. And so this was the one land which was first developed and changed into an urban center also. So this was the land, it was known as Sumer and Akkad. After 2000 BC, when Babylon became an important city, the term Babylonia was used for the southern region. First, Sumer and the Akkad were the most prominent and civilized region of the Mesopotamia, that is the Republic of Iraq. But after 2000 BC, it was changed with Babylonia, which was also in southern Mesopotamia, and Babylonia became the most, you can say, important city. From about 1100 BC, when the Assyrians established their kingdom in the north, the region became known as Assyria. So, like you can see in for example, I am giving you an example of India. Like whenever the invaders, that is the people from the other foreign countries, they attack any other country and make the native people as their slaves, then these invaders these invaders who come as, you can say, traders, and they soon make the native people as their slaves, or these foreign people who attack the country from outside and make the people as their slave. When they become the rulers, they start their own language, their own culture. So in the same way, when in the Mesopotamia, when the Assyrians invaded Mesopotamia and made its own, you can say, empire, then they made the people as their slaves and they started their own language, that is Assyria. So from about 1100 BCE, when the Assyrians established their kingdom in the north, the region became known as Assyrian. The first known language of the land was Sumerian. सबसे पहली जो भाषा थी इस पूरे क्षेत्र की, वो थी सुमेरियन, क्योंकि सबसे पहले जो सुमेर लोग थे, इसको सुमेर भी कहा जाता था पहले, और फिर बाद में इसको धीरे से इसको रिप्लेस कर दी गई अकेडियन लैंग्वेज. व्हेन अकेडियंस केम, they replaced the Sumerian language, which was the language of the people of Sumer. Then Akkadian became the prominent language around 2400 BCE when Akkadian speakers arrived. This language flourished till about Alexander's time, that is 336 to 323 BCE. ये जो अकेडियन लैंग्वेज भी बहुत ज़्यादा उन्नत हुई जब तक कि अलेक्जेंडर का इन्वेजन नहीं हुआ. इन्वेजन मतलब आक्रमण नहीं हुआ. तो जब अलेक्जेंडर कहाँ का था, अलेक्जेंडर मैकेडोनिया का राजा था, और मैकेडोनिया जो है वो ग्रीस में एक छोटी सी जगह है. तो ग्रीस भी यूरोप में एक पेनिनसुलर कंट्री है. इसको हम कह सकते हैं कि ग्रीस इज़ टूवर्ड द ईस्टर्न यूरोप. तो जब अलेक्जेंडर, जो कि मैकेडोनिया को बिलोंग करता था, उसने जब इराक के ऊपर आक्रमण किया, तो जब उसने इराक को मतलब जीत लिया, तो जो वहाँ पे पहले से ही भाषा चल रही थी, जिसको कि सुमेर और अकेडियन कहते थे, उसको उसने हटाकर अपनी लैंग्वेज वहाँ पे, अपनी भाषा वहाँ पे स्टार्ट कर दी. और इस तरह से वहाँ पे अरेमिक जो है उसने और फिर ये सारी लैंग्वेजेस जो थी सब मिलकर के एक नई लैंग्वेज बन गई, जिसको हम हैब्रू कहते हैं, जो आज भी रिपब्लिक ऑफ इराक में बोली जाती है. सो This I will just read out. During the till about Alexander time, 336 to 323 BCE, with some regional changes occurring from 1400 BC, Aramaic also trickled in. दिस लैंग्वेज सिमिलर टू हैब्रू। तो वैसे जब अलेक्जेंडर आया तो उसने अपना कल्चर स्टार्ट किया, जिसको कि हम हेलेनिस्टिक कल्चर भी कहते हैं। और फिर अरेमिक आ गई, which was very much similar to Hebrew, became widely spoken after 1000 and it is still spoken in parts of Iraq। तो इस तरह से वहाँ पे अब कई सारे भाषाएं बोली जाती हैं जो कि वो उनके इन्वेडर्स अपने साथ लाए थे। तो अभी तक इतना ही करते हैं।